Welcome to The Real Deal with Tricia Riel. That's me, Trish the Dish. In May of 2020, the epic Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn continues, but the general vibe feels a little less intense than April.
We've all been coming together by staying apart.
Pluto went retrograde on April 25th, and the vibes were pretty dense. We are going through some territory we've already been through. Even so, there's a sense of forward momentum in the first 10 days of May that might feel encouraging. Hopefully, we'll get some relief after seeing more success with the clinical trials of the antiviral drug remdesivir. Or maybe we'll see some real success through blood plasma treatments from those who have recovered from COVID-19.
Yes, early clinical trials have shown that remdesivir interrupts the ability of COVID-19 to replicate within our cells. And plasma therapy is promising too. Even so, say it, don't spray it has never been more relevant.
For sure, Melvin. So, with the recent Sun-Uranus conjunction in Taurus and square to Saturn in Aquarius, we've seen some unexpected protests, but also some brilliant, ingenious solutions. Yeah, if you keep a glass of wine in each hand, you can't accidentally touch your face.
Oh, and when wearing masks at the bank, make sure to carry a sign that says, "Not a robber."
With Uranus and Taurus, changes manifest in physical ways, and they reflect our values. We might feel stuck with Saturn square Uranus, while also feeling a great need for change.
Personally, I can't wait for all this to be over so we can go back to commuting, polluting, and consuming again.
Anyway, as May begins, the Sun and Mercury conjunct Uranus and Taurus, so getting in touch with what we truly value feels more important than ever.
Yeah. Can we just admit that we may have taken this anyone can grow up to be president thing just a bit too far?
For sure, Vinny. So, the last time the Sun was in conjunction with Uranus in Taurus was 84 years ago. It was in April of 1936 when Franklin D. Roosevelt was the U.S. president. At that time, people were still experiencing the impacts of the Great Depression, but economic recovery efforts began with FDR's New Deal and the Works programs. Basic income through economic stimulus has helped some of us now, but it seems to be a very slow process.
Yeah, and these days are different because of the pandemic. Some people are really happy about having to wear face masks, though. People with bad teeth, those having a herpes outbreak, and other people who are just plain butt ugly.
Vinny, although unrest and depressive vibes have been palpable in 2020, we are hungry for information, and we are embracing new ways of communicating and new ways of doing things. Yeah, but I don't know how many Zoom birthday parties I can do for my friends' kids. On May 5th, the moon's nodes shift into Gemini and Sagittarius, starting a new 18-month cycle. The north and south nodes are where all of the eclipse points happen, So any lunar and solar eclipse that happen in the next 18 months will be in the signs of Gemini or Sagittarius. This nodal transition is similar to the fall of 2001. The World Trade Tower bombings happened just 1 month before the nodes shifted into Gemini in 2001. That event changed airport security and the way we traveled. Similarly, COVID-19 is giving this time period a whole new flavor and changing things in ways we've not experienced before.
We still have many questions, though. For instance, you may have been wondering, can COVID-19 be spread through farts? Now, don't have a posterior pandemic panic. Our pants are like masks that protect the spread via farts. But to be safe, no bare butt farting. We don't want to throw caution to the wind.
And if you're really concerned, just fart into your elbow.
Anyway, there's also a harmonious grand trine of Venus, Mars, and the Moon on May 5th. But the Moon also makes a challenging square to the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn as well. This makes May 5th a bit of a mixed bag. Ideas are flowing with a grand trine of planets and air signs, but the challenges of our shifting paradigm are real.
Yeah, if you think the novel coronavirus is bad, wait until the movie version comes out.
On May 7th, we have a full supermoon in Scorpio at 3:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mercury also makes a harmonious trine to the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction during this full moon. So, although it's a passionate full moon, things are likely to have a way of working out on a practical level.
Yeah, we finally get number 45 to wear a face mask by telling him it's a border wall for his face. Maybe he'll even treat himself by ingesting some disinfectant.
What?
By May 8th and 9th, Venus in Gemini squares imaginative Neptune in Pisces, highlighting how we still don't know what's really going on. With Venus traveling through Gemini, we love information and artsy communication of all kinds, but sifting through illusions and fake news is strange. Yeah, like the Heineken virus isn't getting any press at all.
Yes, and now, before visiting New York City, Governor Cuomo says that Florida beachgoers must first be tested for IQ.
By May 11th, Saturn goes retrograde from Earth's perspective. The Moon also conjuncts the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, intensifying the world situation on a political level and amplifying our need for deep structural world change.
Not sure how we can stop the president who is actively calling for citizens to endanger themselves and others by openly defying public health orders. But somebody should at least put a sock in his mouth.
Yes. On May 12th, the Moon conjuncts Saturn in Aquarius and squares Uranus in Taurus. We are seeing the bigger picture, but also feeling constrained and rebellious.
It's still pretty strange times out on the ranch and everywhere. People who have hated plastic straws and plastic bags suddenly like plastic gloves.
Anyway, By May 13th, Venus goes retrograde in Gemini. Usually, Venus spends 4 to 6 weeks in a sign, but due to apparent retrograde motion at this time, Venus will spend 4 whole months in Gemini, April 4th to August 7th. Ideas and communication of all kinds will be a major focus this spring and far into the summer. The last time Venus was retrograde in Gemini was in 2012, an 8-year cycle repeating itself.
Personally, I've had economic troubles since before 2012, which had already impacted my ability to travel. You realize how isolated you've been when a world pandemic happens and you need to make almost zero changes in your lifestyle.
On May 14th, Jupiter also goes retrograde in Capricorn, so that makes 4 planets retrograde: Venus in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, and Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn, which are also making a harmonious trine to the Sun in Taurus. Although we're making some forward progress in early May, we are having to reassess as so many planets move into apparent retrograde motion, and as we travel through territory we've already been through. Like to get a coronavirus test? Do I still need to be rich and famous? We already know that the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction happened during the American Revolution, pre-1776, and also during the Renaissance period of the early 1500s, but we have other planetary cycles that are repeating as well. Neptune has an orbit of 164 years. The last time Neptune reached the last 10 degrees of Pisces was during the American Civil War of 1856.
People protesting the stay-at-home measures in certain states is wild. This may be the first civil war where the rebels actually kill themselves.
Neptune was also in Pisces during the Salem witch trials of 1692 and during the Renaissance period around 1528.
I guess we'll need to work even harder to be more clear-minded. I mean, having some states honoring shelter-in-place measures and others not is like having a peeing section in the swimming pool.
Social distancing has been working, though. It's kind of like parachuting. If the parachute is working, you just ditch the parachute, right?
With Jupiter and Pluto traveling through Capricorn through most of 2020, we are transforming our world structures, and a wave of change is moving through us all. It is a major awakening for our nervous systems and our psyches.
Yeah, but do you know what my most useless purchase was in 2019? A 2020 planner.
We are adjusting as we minimize the speed of COVID-19. We are lessening our impact on the planet and taking care of ourselves. We see how we are not above nature, but part of it. But with these Capricorn energies so intensely at play in 2020, this whole situation is more about control than anything. Jupiter's influence is like a magnifying lens, and Pluto, the dwarf planet of transformation and rebirth, puts the focus on political structures and intense control. Democratic socialism and a basic income for all are really good ideas for helping support people and for stimulating our economies.
Unfortunately, some people confuse democratic socialism with communism. It must be all the red flags.
On another note, the comet Atlas will come very close to the Earth in late May, likely visible from May 23rd to May 31st. They say it will shine as brightly as Venus as it gets closer. The comet last approached the Earth 6,000 years ago. That time period corresponded with the domestication of the horse and the chicken, as well as the invention of the potter's wheel.
So, like, are all the Harry Potter fans going to start replacing their traveling broomsticks with chickens?
Anyway, it's big work to slowly dismantle the patriarchy and see through the bullshit before our eyes. Trust your own autonomy, your own free will, and your mind. We are transforming on deep soul levels. Time to get beyond the pandemic of fear.
Yep, we are people, not sheeple.
If you've enjoyed this report, please donate to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Tricia Riel. Link provided below. I'm Trish the Dish. This is The Real Deal with Tricia Riel.